Good morning all. In today's tutorial I will be showing you how to sew this exaggerated skirts. Now right now I have my lining, I have the crinoline mesh and the material. Last week I showed us how to do the cutting, so today we are sewing it. So I went ahead to cut out my crinoline mesh, as you can see, and then I cut out my gum stay and put it on the lining because you'll be turning up your work. And then I have the main fabric. Okay, so go ahead and make sure all your patterns are equal. Make sure the lining, the crinoline mesh, and the one you're putting gum stay are equal. So we just hit the machine. So right now this is me trying to join the hip side. Okay, I brought out the front part and the back side of the hip. If you remember how we did the cutting that very day. Okay, so I am joining it. So once I was through with this joining, I'm going to go ahead and notch and put my notch on it while I go ahead to sew up the other side. And then I'll go and do my ironing so that when I'm putting my boning, it will be very easy. You can also go ahead and trim if you think the excess is what is much. So this is the side of the exaggerated skirts. This is the side. If you remember how we did the cutting, this is the side. One part is the front, will be facing the front, the other part will be facing the back. So we just go ahead and do our ironing. And please, if you are ironing, you have to be very careful so that you won't burn your crinoline mesh. Remember it's made of rubber. All right, so right now this is the lining part. Once I was done with joining the crinoline mesh, I brought the lining part. Now this lining, I added my hard stay to it. Okay, the down part is the back while the upper one is the front. You can see that the upper and the down part are not equal because of that 0.75 we added on the hip side. Remember, we subtracted 0.75 on the zipper side so that it will give the back fitting. So that's the reason why it's not equal on the upper side there. So I'll go ahead and join the lining. Okay, so after you finish joining the lining, you go ahead and trim the much excess, and then you notch, and then you iron also. So once I was done with this, I'll bring the main fabric. So this is the main fabric. I'll repeat the same procedure on the main fabric. I'll stitch, and then after stitching I cut off my excesses, and then I'll go ahead and do my ironing. Okay, remember the part we are doing the sides. Okay, and then after that we will now bring them together and start coupling them. So once I was done with this, I trimmed off and I took it to the ironing table. And so now this is the center part. This is the center part of the work. So I went ahead to still cut out my lining, put my hard stay on it, cut out crinoline the same way I did for the both sides. So I had to make sure they are equal. Please make sure they are very, very equal so that you will not finish sewing and find out that the crinoline or the lining is bigger than the main material. So now this is the side. This is the side. Sorry, this is the center of the work. Okay, I'll go ahead to join my dart. Remember, it has a dart. It's a skirt now. We are going to put your dart. So I took out the dart of 1 inch. So I'm going to sew all the darts. You repeat the same procedure for all the tiers. That is the lining and the main fabric and also the crinoline mesh. So I'm going to put my dart. And so once I was done with attaching my dart, so this is how it's looking. Once I was done, I'm going to get my crinoline and then sew my crinoline. Sorry, I'm going to get crinoline. I'm going to get my boning. This is a Reginine boning. I'm going to get my boning. I'm going to sew my boning on that front part. But before I do that, I will use my masking tape to cover up the mouth of my boning so that it doesn't poke. Okay, so you just repeat the same. This is how I did it. Now I trim off the both side, then I sew it on the front of the skirt. I might not be showing this part, but make sure you leave 1 inch on top and then 1 inch on the down part, so it will help you to turn up. So now this is the side of the lining. You can see how it's looking. The one side is the back, one side is the what is the front. Okay, so I went ahead to do my ironing, so you can see how it's looking. Now I had to notch on all those areas. You can see the places I notch, so that it will help me to know where the hip is and where the side is. Please, if you're cutting, make sure you do those notching so that you won't forget. And also notch your up and your down. There's a reason why. If not, when you are sewing, you'll be confused. It almost happened to me, but because of the notching, it wasn't difficult. So I'm going to join the side. Now, when you finish sewing this, it's going to look like a princess seam. Okay, you know princess that, so it's going to look like a princess seam skirt, but still it's your exaggerated skirt. So I'm going to sew this. I'm going to attach it to the center of the skirt. Now we are going to start from the down part. You start from the down part towards to the upper side. You can see where the same you can see where the dart is. You can see where I'm sewing from. So I'll just do the joining, and then you're going to see how beautiful it's looking. It really looks like a princess dart. All right, so I don't know how you want to sew your exaggerated skirts. You might not be doing this, but you might just cut out a skirt and a normal skirt and do your gums there and all that. But this is how I want to do it, because I really want it to be exaggerated. Okay, so this is how it's looking. You can see how. So I'm going to join the other side of the skirt. I'll go ahead now and join the other side, and then we'll do the same thing to all other parts, like the main material and the crinoline parts. So, but I'll keep showing you how we did it. So I'll now go ahead and join the back side. So this is the zipper side, and the other side is the what is the way the place where I'll be joining the exaggerated parts. Okay, remember what we did to the front. So the back side, I'll be joining the center back side now. So this is the center back side. So go ahead and do your joining, and remember, always start from the down part, okay, for best results. So once I was done with joining the right side, I'll go ahead and join the other side of the back side, and then I'm going to put it on to one of my models so that you see how the lining part is looking like. Okay, so that you get a clue of how it's gonna come out. Now this is how it is now without the model. This is how it is. You can see it's also looking like a princess seam. All right, so just go ahead and do the other side of the words of the back. See how beautiful it's looking. So I'm going to sew the other side of the back side. Okay, but before then I forgot to add my darts, so I will be adding the darts. Okay, make sure you are adding the darts to the back side too. Remember, the dart is going to help the back side of the skirt to fit very well. You wouldn't want to finish sewing and the zipper side is opening and all that. So make sure you're adding up your dart. So now I've added up the darts. I'll just go ahead and stitch the other side, and then I'll show you the outcome. So this is the outcome. Okay, this is how it's looking. It's more beautiful than this, but this is the outcome. You see how that hip side is looking very big and all that, exaggerated. Even the front part. Now I wanted the front part to pop up also, so I had to add 1 inch dart to the front side. I added another inch in the center of the front. I don't know, but that's how I wanted it. Now this is the center of the the side of the crinoline mesh. So I'm adding my boning to it. So the only place I added boning was on the crinoline mesh. So I'm going to add the boning on the straight part, and that's the center part, and I'm going to also add the bonings on the side like so. Okay, so I'll be adding three bones to it. I added on the center, and I shaded it, I added on the two side. So I'm going to also show you the outcome. Now, while I was sewing, the thread was just cutting. Never mind, that's born for you. Okay, your thread will have to cut, your patience will be tested, but don't worry, victory is assured. Okay, so I went ahead, I kept sewing, the thread kept cutting, but it didn't deter me. I continued. Now, once I was done with this, I'm also going to show you the outcome of the crinoline mesh. It came out so beautifully well done. So just keep watching. So this is the outcome of the crinoline. Okay, you can see how puffy is looking, so exaggerated and all that. So this is the outcome because of the boning. So I'll just go ahead and sew, and this is the outcome of it. Okay, on my mother, you can see how it's exaggeratedly looking like. All right, so once I was done again, I did the other part of the crinoline mesh, and then I went ahead to attach it to the center part of my work. And then once I was done with that, I will also be showing you the outcome on my model. So this is the outcome. You can see how it's looking very beautiful on her. You can see because of the color of the dress she's wearing, you won't see it very well. Look, but it still came out beautiful. Okay, so this is the outcome, all looking well. Okay, so this is how it should look like, the crinoline mesh with the boning on it. So you can see how I did the boning, how I sewed the boning lines. You can see. All right, she's doing shakara. All right, once I was done with that, I'm going to bring the main fabric and the crinoline mesh. I'll just join it together and hold it, not turning up, hold it together. Okay, then this is it. This is where I held it together. All right, you see how it's looking. I'm not sewing it here, just held together. So once I was done with holding it together, I'll go and sew it. I'll sew it together. Okay, but make sure it fits very well before you sew, to make sure the material and the crinoline mesh are equal. It will give you a very perfect finishing. All right, so once I was sure that the two of them are equal, I went switch to my machine. I started joining. Okay, so this is it here. So you just join it together, not turning up, just hold the two of them together. All right, so the front side of the crinoline facing the back side of the main fabric. All right, so just hold it together, like in holding it together to be equal. So after holding them together, now you are going to now introduce your lining. Remember the lining you did, the lining that had this the hard stay. You're going to now use it to do your turn up. But this is me trying to hold the crinoline mesh and the main fabric together, and I made sure it was equal, seam allowance to seam allowance, that line to that line. If you do it, you are going to have a perfect exaggerated skirt. But make sure the waist part of the where the waist part top of the crinoline mesh and the material are equal. All right, make sure it's not pass it did not pass, as in make sure the two of them are very, very equal, if you understand what I'm saying. Let's not one be bigger than one. That's what I mean. So once I was done with this, okay, I did not show everything on this one, just at least you have an idea of what I was trying to say. So I'll just go ahead and start stitching and introduce what the lining and the lining. Okay, So this is the lining. I've gone ahead to hold the crinoline mesh and my material together. So now I'm going to do my turn up, okay? Remember, it was just holding together so that they become one. So this time around, I'm going to now turn up with my lining. Like I said, make sure your both fabrics are equal. Make sure all the fabrics are equal, because if it is not equal, you won't get what you want. All right, so I'd make sure they are equal. So I'm going to start stitching now. I started from the center side. I sew from the center to the end, and then I turned to the other side. I sew from the center, that's the waist center side, to the what, to the end. Do that for best result, okay? Despite I know it's equal, but do that. So once I was done with turning up my lining, with as in turning up my work up, I'm going to show you also what the finished look. Make sure you do all the turn up, all right? And then please make sure you don't sew on the bones. And that was why we gave that 1 inch allowance on the top and 1 inch allowance on the down part. Remember when we were cutting our boning, the boning was shorter than the material, as you can see. As all right, so make sure you don't sew on the bone, all right? So once I was done, we'll just go ahead and turn up my work. So this is it. I was done, so I'll just go ahead and turn up the work, and I'll give it a very hot iron, okay? If you have a steam iron, to be better, okay? But if you don't have, use the one you have. So give it an ironing, and then you can see both the back side and the front side, they are looking beautiful. No, it's not so. All right, so we'll go ahead and iron it. So once we are done with ironing it, I'm going to put it on a mannequin or on my dress form, and then you're going to see how beautiful it came out. All right, so far, if this tutorial was very helpful, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and also subscribe. All right. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the video. I'll show us how it came out. Turn everything out, put your notch where necessary, and then you are good to go. All right, so to all my returning subscriber, I want to say thank you for returning back, and to our new subscriber, thank you. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell again so that you get notified whenever we upload our video. So this is the finished look. You see how beautiful it is. You see how beautiful it came out. All right, until I see you again in my next class, I remain Cynthia. Bye.